Welcome to another exciting show of transformation. Prosper with Wayne, creating wealth, health, and happiness in your life. With your host, life and business coach, author, entrepreneur, and lover of life, Wayne Sutton. Prepare to become excited, expand your beliefs, and truly prosper in all the areas of your life. Enjoy.
Hey guys, Wayne Sutton here, Life Coach You, Life Coach You. Pick up your book, lifecoachlifestyle.com. Years ago, I met a lady, and it was a meeting that I was required. I was in the corporate world, and I was required to drive the corporate and had to meet this person who was going to teach us a class on customer service and how to give, extraordinary customer service. So I'm all about learning. So I hop in the car, drive 6-7 hours. I get there, and I'm blown away with her, let's just say lack of customer service skills to be teaching the class. So she shakes my hand and she doesn't let go. In fact, she holds on just a little bit too long. You know how some of those people just hold on a little too long? And she just kept staring in my eyes. Now, okay, I don't think that she was coming on to me. I just thought it was weird, and it was weird. And then she proceeded to go into her class with all her logic and all her statistics about customer service, and it went very quickly downhill. I was losing interest in her. I was losing interest in the class. And then she had the wisdom, if that's what you want to call it, to call me out. And she said, if you'll notice how I greeted you, and etc. And she was kind of even calling me out for not being as responsive back to her. And so she made a mistake of doing this in front of about 50 other corporate employees and leaders, and so I said, well, listen, since you called me out in front of everybody, let me call you out. I thought you were very, very disgenuine. I thought you were a little bit weird, a little creepy when you held my hand too long and you looked me in the eye too long, and I called her out on her own BS, and so it didn't go over very well. But I told her, I said, you're not in the real world. You're not, this is how you do not approach someone. I'm going somewhere here, so just hang on tight. So I immediately did not like her. She didn't like me. She went back into her statistics and numbers and graphs and pie charts and all about customer service. And I was to the point of literally waiting for the break, excusing myself, and driving the 6 or 7 hours back home to Wilmington. I was like, I don't need this. I'm not going to sit through this. But then she told a story. I want you to grab a hold of this. So what I want you to do is just, if you were with this group of people, imagine being in this group of people and this woman has called you out and she's embarrassed you, and now she is trying to correct you. You've corrected her, and there's this awkwardness. But about 30 minutes, maybe an hour later, she began to capture my attention because she told a story. See, I started this podcast telling you the story about my drive. I was driving and I met this woman and how she made me feel weird. And I asked you to imagine yourself in that story. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this story go? You're probably listening to this podcast thinking, what's next, Wayne? That's what you have to do when you're coaching others. You have to be a great storyteller and one that can listen to the story. You can listen to the story, because as your client's telling you their story of their trial, tribulation, hopes, dreams, aspirations, you have to place yourself in the story so you can feel what they're feeling, so you can recognize where they're coming from. But then you have to tell another story about where they can be. It is really about storytelling. That's what coaching is really about, storytelling, listening, and then moving forward. So number one, she told this story about being a 12-year-old kid at Christmas, and she received this little engineer's kit, and where most girls wanted clothes or dolls or makeup, I guess. I don't know what 12-year-old girls want. I have an 8-year-old. I'll find out soon enough. But it's what they would want. She got instead this little erector set and this little engineer set, and she was blown away. She enjoyed it, but I loved how she told the story. And I kind of felt different towards her. Now, we didn't become best friends, but we went from a negative to a neutral. Or at least I did, and she did in my eyes. The power of a story. A power of a story, okay? You never want to start a coaching session, or you never want to start a session where you're talking with a prospective client with facts and figures. They don't care. They want to know who you are. They want to tell their story, and they want to hear your story, and you have to blend those together. So number one, ask your audience questions. You want to ask your audience, if that's an audience of many, an audience of one, you want to ask questions. Questions are powerful because they create a curiosity gap. Okay, they create them. But for them to land properly, you make sure you use the word you in them. So have you ever met, this is a great one, have you ever met someone who this? Or do you know much about, or how much do you know about? Do you know much about? It's okay, but how much do you know about? How much do you know about? Kind of takes the, what have you heard about? Kind of takes the ego out of it. What have you heard about neuro-linguistic programming? What have you heard about criteria-based coaching? What have you heard about the keto diet? Whatever you're doing, whatever you're coaching them in. And if you're in a group, maybe hands up if you've ever blank. So and then you want to place that person in the scene. So I was with this group. I remember I said I was with this group of people. Actually, the best way of saying that is if you had been there in that group of people. That's why I asked you at the end. Say, if you imagine yourself, that if you'd have been there in that group and this woman called you out, imagine yourself in that. And this woman, just to let you know, this woman was kind of like the, and then I would have gave an example. I'm kind of drawing a blank with this one person, but you would go into that. This person was kind of like, does that make sense? This person was kind of like, and you talk about how this person was, and you may relate that person to someone else. Can you relate that person to someone relatable? So, for instance, Cindy is kind of like Monica from Friends. Or Jessica is kind of like Rachel from Friends. And so then they relate that to somebody, because if there's somebody relatable that they know, then they can picture them, they can hear them. And listen, does that mean they're going to change the format of the story in their mind? Yes, but it's going to make them relate to that person if you can find someone relatable. Then we're going to go into deeper storytelling tactics through this podcast. And for our coaching students, we're going to give a full storytelling class of how to use storytelling to elicit criteria, to implant the right processes for change and transformation. We're going to do all of this in our covert hypnotic storytelling secret class. That sounds good, right? I don't know exactly what we're going to call it, but we're going to tell you how I coach people and change lives through storytelling. But it does begin with the setup. It begins with asking good questions and going through the struggle. And we're going to talk about the struggle and then the solution. If you're going to bring the struggle up, you need to bring the solution. And of course, the solution is working with you. So we're going to go deeper and deeper into this. There's a lot of books, a lot of information on storytelling. Remember, storytelling needs to have a purpose. As we said in the course, you always want an outcome. So let's bring an outcome. Guys, I appreciate you very, very much. If there's anything you need from me, let me know. Pick up the book at lifecoachlifestyle.com. Lifecoachlifestyle.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. God bless.
Thanks for joining us again at Prosper with Wayne. Be sure to subscribe to us for more exciting, life-changing episodes. Go today, in fact. Go now to prosperwithwayne.com and enter your email for our exclusive newsletter and other resources. God bless and go prosper.